What up, everybody? Thanks for checking into the Brown Mamba podcast. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jackson, and this episode is solely dedicated to easily the worst pay-per-view that I can remember seeing since I've started watching wrestling again, and judging by the internet and all these other places, similar reaction, the worst pay-per-view possibly ever. For those of you who don't know, Fastlane was last night on Sunday night, or just a glorified, extra shitty version of Raw. I mean, it was pretty freaking bad. I can't lie. There's no, I mean, like I said, I mean, I've had time to think about it now for a little bit, and the whole time you're watching it, it's just, it had its bright spots. Don't get me wrong, but it was literally just, a really long and really bad episode of Raw. So, I mean, I'm just going to go through everything real quickly and then obviously get to the really big stuff that happened at the end. And, when I say big stuff, I don't mean in a good way. I mean, like, it was, pretty impactful going forward, but, like I said, in a bad way. So starting off, we had, Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn was a good way to start the show. I mean, thank God they didn't, squash Sami. Even though it just seems like now he's just destined to be not a full on like jobber to the stars, but like he's the guy that they're going to use to help put over, these new guys or newer people that come in that because they know that they can get a great match out of Sami, and they know that Sami can help, these new guys like Samoa Joe or, when Kevin Owens was coming up and stuff like that. Help them. He can help make them look good. And I don't know if that's necessarily a compliment or a diss on Sami Zayn, because I mean, everyone really wants to see him, succeed at the highest level and win a championship or anything like something like that. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem in the cards right now. But I hope he does. I hope he gets paid better than a lot of other people, because he puts on a lot of really, really, really good matches. So, but yeah, moving on. Yeah, with Samoa Joe, it made him look really strong. He looked, just like how if you've been a Samoa Joe fan for a long time, you know exactly what to expect. And the only thing is, I hope, I mean, I know it's a really dangerous move, but I think it's official that we all know that the Muscle Buster is, banned. He only uses the Uranagi Slam and the Kuchikita Clutch. So it would have been really cool to see the Muscle Buster, but I guess we're not gonna be able to get to see it. But yeah, like I said, great way to start it. But that's about as good as that's about as good as it gets. Really. I mean, other than a couple of bright spots, but it starts to go down from there. The tag team championship match, I mean, it had some good moments. I mean, Enzo was, really, really good at just throwing his body around, but, I mean, I get it. They're trying to make, they're trying to tell the story, but, I mean, it was just like, it's just kind of a whatever match. Like, I was expecting more out of it, I guess. I mean, but that's, I guess, my fault for expecting something out of, Gallows and Anderson and Enzo and Cass, who are, more, entertainers and ring workers. But I guess it sets up, the storyline for them to, for Enzo and Cass to win the championships at WrestleMania, I'm thinking. So at least there was that. And then Sasha and Nia, their match, I mean, similar theme here. Like crazy pushes and stories ending, starting with this one. It's like, what was the point of pushing Nia as this unstoppable force for her to just lose, clean like that? Now, apparently, I thought it maybe happened, or I thought it was a mess up, when she did her cover, but I think Sasha was supposed to hold the rope when she did the pin, because it looked like she was reaching for it. But then I thought she was reaching for it to get like a dirty cover, as like that's the only way that she could beat Nia Jax. But then she just grabbed it and pulled herself out of the ring. So I figured, oh, maybe she was just trying to get out as fast as she could. But apparently, like I said, I'm seeing that she botched that. She was supposed to grab onto the ropes for leverage. Because they made a point to show and talk about how strong Nia Jax was, and how could she not get out of, little ass Sasha Banks, which is a pretty, it's a cool cover, but it's essentially something that she could easily power out of. So look for more on that coming out. I think, like I said, I think she botched it. But now, again, it just leaves you, like, wondering, okay, now what? Like, Nia Jax was supposed to be this unstoppable force, similar to someone else who also lost clean. And then she just lost clean. And it's now, or it looks like she lost clean. And so where do you go from there? Apparently I think it was supposed to be a fatal 4-way. Or I'm looking, the way it looks like it's supposed to be a fatal 4-way for the women's belt at WrestleMania now, but, which I'll get to later. But I'm not sure. But enough on that. Probably, now this is where it became the glorified episode of Raw, with the whole Cesaro, or excuse me, the Rusev and Jinder Mahal thing. I mean, I thought it as soon as it happened, and everyone else is saying it. What are they thinking, giving Jinder Mahal a long match like that? You know what I mean? Like, cool for Cesaro won. Everyone loves Cesaro. And then, like, no one, I mean, I get it, the Big Show, doesn't have his match with Shaq anymore, apparently. But I mean, like, who is asking for these matches? And like I said, that was the moment also that when you see them, like, adding these filler matches and filler things, that was the moment you knew, like, shit, we might have another short main event with Goldberg. And it kind of, like, it started to settle in, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, God, like, damn it. Like, and you know it, but you don't want to admit it yet. But it's like, it's slowly showing. And, those matches were just completely trash. Like, sorry. I mean, like I said, I love Cesaro, but what the fuck? He won on the European uppercut. Like, seriously? And then, I mean, seriously, hashtag save Rusev. I mean, first, he cut his hair. Second, he just got jobbed out to the Big Show. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Rusev deserves a lot better than that. And, I mean, like I said, that was the beginning of the end right there, where it was like, oh, shit. Like, all right, we're in for it. And it's kind of like, like I said, you just kind of don't want to admit it yet, but in the back of your mind, like, it's coming. And I think that right there set the tempo for, what was to come with everybody, a lot of the viewers starting to really get upset at this pay-per-view for being so shit. And this was the first big domino that fell. Paired up with the New Day with that ice cream thing. Like, that was also when you knew, like, all right, they're just throwing this filler thing in here to really, like, make sure that like, shit, Goldberg's gonna win. And he's gonna beat Kevin Owens, and everyone's gonna be pissed. And I mean, that I'm done with the New Day. If you've been tuning in and listening to me doing my wrestle stuff, you know that I'm done with the New Day. So, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, there's not much else to say about that. I'm done with New Day. I'm tired of them already. Like, it's like, it was cool, but it's it's time to move on already. And speaking of moving on to the match of the night. Who would have thought, after everything that they've been through, that the match of the night, and so far, in my opinion, maybe the match of the year, was the Cruiserweight Championship match between Neville and Jack Gallagher. I mean, if you don't know who, so Neville won, which, I mean, was kind of, predictable, but I hope that this doesn't, hinder or stall out Jack Gallagher's push, like the way that when TJ Perkins lost, he just kind of forget about him. Like, I was watching with my friend, and he's like, "Hey, what happened to that other guy who was the first winner of this and that?" And I'm like, "Oh, you mean TJ Perkins?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "What happened to him?" I was like, "Bro, I don't even know. He's just bouncing around. So I hope that doesn't happen to Jack Gallagher because he put on a damn good match. He was funny. Like when he, his whole shtick is super funny. And then when he was doing the whole, like standing on it or on the corner on his head and putting his legs out, like that was hilarious. And it was, and it helped to tell the story. It let you know who his character is. And I mean, the way he took those bumps, the way he, his headbutts, like, I'm telling you, like Jack Gallagher is really, really good. And I hope he doesn't get lost in the wash like the other guys have. And he gets another rematch with Neville, or he gets in more big matches with other cruiserweights and stuff like that. And Neville pulled out the freaking Red Arrow again, which in my opinion is the coolest one of if not the coolest finisher in the WWE. So I hope we start seeing that some more. And yeah, great match. And like I said, I hope that this doesn't hurt Jack Gallagher's push because I mean he was great. Neville looked great again, and like I said, I hope that this feud keeps going for the sake of the cruiserweights, even though it seems like the cruiserweight division itself might, potentially be gone in the near future. And to keep the momentum going, the Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman match was actually really, really good. And it was a great match, you know what I mean? A lot of great, cool spots. Other than freaking Roman Reigns' shoes, it was, that was a really great match that just had a really stupid shit ending. I mean, like, yeah, Roman Reigns, I mean, it's just so frustrating. This was the next tipping point for why this was such a shit pay-per-view, because it's like, again, like I hinted earlier, what was the point of that huge push for Braun Strowman to just have him lose clean to Roman Reigns on a spear after I get it. He tried to do the splash from the top rope, which is crazy. Especially how large Braun Strowman is. But a spear after that, and that's the way he loses. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, if you thought Roman Reigns got booed, wait until the build-up to WrestleMania. He is going to be booed so much now because, like, everyone knows the whole Vince McMahon likes big sweaty man, yada yada stuff, right? And the push for Braun Strowman actually kind of seemed forced, I'll admit, but he's shown how great he can be and how, potentially, he can be a frontline main eventer. You know what I mean? Like, he's got the look, he's got the moveset, he's shown that he can work. I mean, in his progression is honestly one of the craziest I've ever seen, just how far he's come in such a relatively short amount of time. And it's just, why have him lose clean? Like, I don't get it. Like, people are saying already, and I kind of figured it too, that this is setting him up to win that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale at WrestleMania, and then that's probably going to happen. But I mean, it's like, okay, Baron Corbin won it, didn't do shit for him. So hopefully they book it better. But I mean, it's just like, why do this? Especially, and it's kind of like one of those things that it's so, like, obvious that it's almost so painfully obvious that, like, of course they would have Roman Reigns be the guy to end Braun Strowman's, winning streak or reign of terror. But it's almost, like I said, it's almost so painfully obvious that they just wouldn't do it, But, Occam's razor, of course it was going to be Roman Reigns. But, I mean, I just don't know why they didn't do the whole thing where, Undertaker, somehow they should have... Obviously, Roman Reigns is going to be facing Undertaker at WrestleMania. And, I mean, I guess they wanted Roman Reigns to look strong, like, oh, he can hang with Undertaker. But I don't know why they just didn't do something where, maybe Roman Reigns hits that after Braun Strowman does the splash. Roman Reigns hits the spear, right? And then he hits the spear and he gets up like he's ready to pin him. Lights go out. Then they do the whole Undertaker lightning thing on the screen. They maybe play some of his, like, ominous music or whatever, like the little, like, all the stuff. And it sets it up, and then the lights turn back on. And then it's kind of like, okay, he's looking around like, where is he? Because he knows, the whole thing. Every time the lights go out and then the lights come back on with Undertaker, he's in the ring or he's somewhere, and then he looking around, he's distracted, looking for Undertaker, thinking like, come on, blah blah blah, and then that's when Braun Strowman hits him with his choke slam or his power slam, where he does a move on him, and that's how Roman Reigns loses. It helps save Braun Strowman looking like a force. He's still undefeated, but it gives Roman Reigns a better backstory going in against the Undertaker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that hard, you know? And then now it's just like, it just kind of, the wind is out of everything. Like, the wind's out of the sails. Like, it would have added a layer of, not sympathy, but like, some people, by doing that, it shows how omniscient that the Undertaker is. That, like, if they want Roman Reigns to be this superhero guy that they want him to be, they have to book it that way. And by doing that, it creates, like I said, this omniscient feeling of the Undertaker. Like, you think you're big, but I'm the big dog. He's obviously, the Undertaker's line is I'm the big dog in the yard, And, with Roman Reigns trying to do that, by having him, Undertaker's presence, looming over Roman Reigns, it'll give him that feeling that he's the underdog for once. And it just might have caused people to want to cheer for Roman. Like, all right, this is for the first time he's the underdog. And for the first time, he actually might get some sympathy from the fans, and he might get some cheers. Maybe. I mean, even though we already know that Roman Reigns is going to beat The Undertaker. But, I don't know. Like I said, that's why I'm just another fan sitting, another freaking smark sitting, at a desk, and I'm not I don't work for WWE Creative, but that's just me. And then continuing on the shit list, that Bayley Charlotte match. I mean, I love Bayley, like, I really really do, but they have seriously, like, they fucked her character up so bad. They, like, misbooked her. They, the writing for her character is super shit. And it's like, what is going on? I don't know what's going on. Because, I mean, it's right now, like I said, I love Bayley, but she is not a good champion right now. They gave her the belt too early. And, she hasn't been putting on great matches. She's looked super, super weak, with Sasha always having to bail her out. And I get that they're probably setting up a Sasha heel turn. I get that. But, I mean, like I said, it just makes Bayley look so weak. And Charlotte is actually, comes off as the sympathetic figure, where, like, she's supposed to be this heel, and she is the heel, but it's everyone against her, when it's supposed to be the other way around. Like, she's the one that's, coming off like, hey, what the hell? Like, I'm out here trying to win the right way and stuff. And when that's Bayley's whole thing, it's just completely ass backwards. And I mean, that's not to mention the actual, how, like, poor the match went in general. I mean, like, missed spots, and, like, Bayley with that really bad, when she slipped off the rope. And I mean, like, I just don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in the women's division. I mean, like I said before, I thought that it was going to be a fatal four-way, because it's like Nia Jax would have momentum, being undefeated, and she's like, hey, you know what? Like, I deserve a title. Like, I deserve a shot. And so I figured like that. And then also they ended the streak when they could have DQ'd Sasha Banks. Like, that's a perfect way to keep that streak going. And if she's going to lose it at WrestleMania, at a big event like WrestleMania, And all they had to do is, because she gets disqualified, Bayley keeps the belt, and Charlotte keeps her streak alive. It just makes too much. It just makes so much. It's just very frustrating that these solutions are so easy, yet, I mean, it's just a thing I always say. It's when, it's like, why did they do that? It's like, come on, man, that makes way too much sense. Like, it's not very sarcastically I say that, but it's seriously, like, it just makes too much sense to just, have Sasha get involved, and it helps build that storyline, and then Bayley can come out and say, hey, like, look, Sasha, I don't need you, blah blah blah, and then that creates that tension between them. But now I don't even know what's going on. Like I said, I hope that in the coming weeks up to WrestleMania, they build a better story for this. But it's going to take a lot to have to save the Raw women's wrestling in general right now. But the Raw women's division is just I don't know what's going on. And if you know what's going on, please someone let me know. All right, and now for the biggest what the fuck. I'm sure all of you know by now, but Goldberg is the Universal Champion. A 50-year-old part-timer who hasn't been in a match for longer than a minute and a half. Who's literally only done spears and jackhammers and yelling. I mean, look, I love Goldberg. Everyone loves Goldberg. Trust me. Everyone loves Goldberg. But by doing this, it's such a huge slap in the face to the entire roster. It is such a huge slap in the face. And, Kevin Owens, from what I could tell, was not hiding his frustration in him just being jobbed out like that. He knows it. Everyone knows it. Smart fans like me and other people know it. And I don't know who. I mean, I get it. You want a big name guy holding the belt going into WrestleMania, so you can do all the press tours and everyone knows Goldberg's name and this and that. I get it. But son of a bitch, man. And I love Brock Lesnar too. Like, Brock Lesnar is probably one of my favorite characters of all time. Even the watered down version he is now. I get it. But you're essentially the WrestleMania main event is going to be between two part-timers. And who knows how long it's going to be. Because Goldberg hasn't gone a full match. Now, unless Goldberg doesn't want to do a quote-unquote full match, and the tables turn, and he jobs out to Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar, does what he does to Goldberg, like what he did to Cena at SummerSlam a couple years ago. I don't know. I don't know what's going on right now. And that's probably going to be the main event at WrestleMania, because it's the two biggest names. But, man, like I said, it's what a huge slap in the face to all the guys in the back. I mean, there's so much great talent, especially Kevin Owens, who I love Kevin Owens too. Great character, great on the mic, great improv skills, great ring worker. And like I said, you could see how frustrated he was. He had to essentially job out to Goldberg, a part-timer who just comes in, and doesn't do anything. And it's like we're just supposed to believe that Goldberg's just unstoppable. Like, it's just not this. It's not the same. It's not like how it was. They're just rehashing what he did in WCW on a smaller scale. And it's honestly like it's. No one wants to fully admit it because it's Goldberg, but I'll say it. It's like it's worse than Roman Reigns. Like, this really, really is worse than the Roman Reigns push. Like, because at least with Roman Reigns, he's even though he's this unstoppable figure, he's not full on just like squashing people, like squashing huge names, and I guess the best thing that comes out of this is the Y2J Kevin Owens match is now set up for WrestleMania, and that storyline is going to progress and be good. But son of a bitch, man, I was so upset, and that's the thing is people say, oh, I was isn't that like, people are pissed off, like legitimately mad. Like, I had a visceral reaction, like I was pissed off when Goldberg won. And like I said, and that's sad to say because, like I said, Goldberg is such a legend and everyone knows and everyone loves Goldberg. But damn, dude, it's just, seriously, like, there's so many deserving guys and so much better storytelling that they could do. And I don't know, it doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. And if it's, you know, there's just so much potential for this main event at this WrestleMania to be a sequel to easily one of the worst, not just main events in WrestleMania history, but one of the worst moments in WrestleMania history, when with the first time Brock Lesnar and Goldberg squared off, and it was just, they got booed out of the building. And there's just that potential, and that's so sad because, like I said, they're gonna be put in the main event over guys who deserve it. You know, guys like Kevin Owens, guys like Sami Zayn and Rusev, and Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, and yeah, like I said, I mean, I can't hammer the point home enough that I'm pissed, and I'm not alone in this feeling. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and like I said, you always have to have hope that they'll come up with a good storyline, even though a lot of people were trying to have that hope, and they just got, essentially, spit in the face with how horrible Fastlane was. But I don't know, man. They can't screw this up. They cannot screw this up going on to the final stretch of the road to WrestleMania. They cannot screw it up, especially with how down people are and how much they're really trying to just pimp out the network, and how they might, if WrestleMania is bad, or as bad as it potentially can be, dude, look for them to lose a lot of subscribers and just people to just completely tune out. And I mean, they know what they're gonna build it up, they're gonna build it up somewhat okay. I know that. It's just they need to deliver. They really, really need to deliver. Because, yeah, like I said, I'm not alone in this, but people are pissed off at the state of WWE right now. So like I said, I have faith, but very, very slim. And like I said, there's a few weeks for them to get everyone's interest and trust and everything back. So we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, that was Fastlane, aka the worst episode of Raw in recent history. And I'm not sure how many of you are out there, but if you feel any different, let me know how you feel. Go ahead and subscribe, like, share, comment for all that and all that good stuff. And like I said, let me know how you felt. If anyone out there felt different, go ahead and hit me up at all my ads down below. Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that good stuff. You can always hit me up on anywhere. And yeah, man, it's gonna be definitely an interesting episode of Raw tonight. Apparently Undertaker's gonna be there tonight, supposedly. But that's about all I know. And like I said, I mean, people are gonna tune in, but not for the reasons that I think that they want people to tune in for. But I guess any eyes are better than no eyes. So yeah, another check in with them, see how Raw goes. And yeah, like I was saying before, this is it. This is the last home stretch on the road to WrestleMania. So so we're gonna have to strap in for the ultimate thrill ride as they're trying to sell it. So yeah, just gonna have to wait and see how things go. Definitely gonna be checking in some more and on the booking and the how the stories go up until WrestleMania. And until then, thanks for checking in. Thanks for listening. How you're listening. Thanks for watching. How you're watching. And catch you guys on the next one. Peace.